Okay, well, what about, and maybe I need a little bit of edification. So when people generate new stuff, right? Do those outputs get fed back into the model? And then the second part of that is that, first of all, is that considered another form of synthetic? And how does that deprecate the model, or does it, well, I don't think it improves it any better,
Yeah.
but anyway, I want you to explain that.
Yeah. So first there's the conversation interaction question, like what gets pulled in as training. And then there's the when you use generative AI to output content on the web, is that then used for training question? So for the first question about conversations, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, depending on the policies that you've set. So like with, this is true for all of the sort of commercial chatbots, but for at least some of them, if you have like an enterprise account, you can have in your settings, like this cannot be used for further training. But in like free sorts of accounts, those are picked back up for training. At least the setting there is on by default. And that data is gold. More other data that's been scraped, because that's how people are actually interacting with these systems, right? So like ideally, if you have a chatbot, you can train it on chatbot type conversations to see what people are asking, how they correct it in order to make a system better. You don't have that at the start, but after it's been deployed, that is that data, right? And so in terms of creating more effective systems, like absolutely, it is a technically strategic idea to treat that data as gold and really use it for training if you can. Question about generated content that then proliferates around the web. This is an issue and is like creating this homogenizing effect. And there's been some sort of fun work on like model collapse, where you could eventually end up with a model that just says the word the a lot, right? Because, the set of concepts that are available, the long tail. So I don't know if people are familiar with this concept of the long tail, but like all of the various ways that things can be talked about and expressed, and all of the various topics that people talk about sort of get chopped off when it's doing like larger general purpose generations for news or whatever it is. And so if you keep chopping off the long tail, then you're just a situation where you can learn less and less and have less and less diversity. And it's like a Ouroboros, like a snake eating its tail. It's so funny you asked that. I was just drawing this before we started. A little, I don't know if you can see, it's like a snake eating its tail. That's an information ecosystem. Doodling, funny you should ask. That's what's happening.
How long will it take before our systems get to that point, though? Like, because at some point they say the world is running out of data.
Well, the world is constantly generating data. I mean, like everything we do can, I guess, be datatized in some way, right? So like we can have cameras, and this is happening now too with like work in robotics, where you have like cameras put on the workers who are putting things together. And so, you can learn from how their like manual construction is in order to train models. So from a like very like mechanistic, like technical perspective, we're always generating data, or we're always doing things that then could be turned into data. So it's out of it. But I think the problem that that's getting at is that obviously it was the case that there was just tons and tons of unmined data on the internet. And now it's been mined. And so like, people are still producing content on the internet that can be mined, right? And they're producing original content. But more and more of that is generated content now. It's not new and novel content. So that has this homogenizing Ouroboros effect. And so I think that, that's what people are getting at if there's like this sentiment of running out of data, It's that the well of data on the internet is sort of running dry of original content.
Right.
Yeah. But you always get data if you really try.
Yeah, no, exactly. My main concern was at some point, will a lot of it be generated? And
Yeah.
I think that's the fear.
That's already happening. I mean,
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is your